Be good enough. I'll chop it down when I want to. Time's good enough, isn't it? Hi. Well, let's do some bits of awards and then you can eat more cake because I'm not taking that much. It's a bit too much, especially that large one. 3 years. That went quicker than I thought it would have, actually. And most of the faces, even some on the very first one, little bits of time off, it's been changing. This year there's been a lot more people that have joined, like some face changes, or should I say, sorry, where there's been a couple that have dropped off and then they've been replaced by newer, and it's still been quite good because we've just met even more people. Now I really can't get away from anybody. You go somewhere, you meet people all the time. Anyway, I'll go straight into a little bit of trophies. It's just for fun, isn't it? It's not meant as something serious. Although some of the replies that we'll get back when you're reading through them, you're like, that's actually amazing on some of the bits. I am going to start with my most difficult one actually, and that was the most miles mustered. And it's most difficult for me, because it seems to be this year everyone keeps running around in circles on fields and stuff like that's not mustered. So well, that one wasn't a muster, so this one needs to be, and then there's that person, and then they weren't here. And there were a couple of close ones for that. If it was just off pure miles, Michelle would have nailed it, but there was a lot of fields involved. You could see, and most of her Strava is just circles on some of them. So I changed it up a little bit of frequency. So video frequency of coming back, and actually made notes of when they were coming back so I can see which ones are which. And they're not here, sadly, which is why I've started with that one. Hopefully somebody can take that back to Rob. Believe it or not, he actually mustered.
Rob, reporter Rob.
Yeah, he did more than most people did.
Alcock. Alcock.
Yeah.
Well,
I was quite surprised. I've gone through it, but there's some people who would usually, Colin was up there as one of the better ones, but he hasn't been to that many.
Oh yeah.
When you look at it, you're like, no, just out of sheer consistency of turning up, the odd one or two, it kept topping up and topping up and topping up.
you see him
I didn't know until I saw Rob on his
Excellent. But I was quite surprised with that myself. And I was going through them all and I'm like, there's some changing, there's some here, there's some frequency. I'm like, no, he took it by quite good actually, it was really good. The next one which we put out was the most runs attended. And I quite like this because it wasn't far off that one either, but this year there's been a couple where we've dropped off. And the person who won this year's, the person who won this year's is actually the female, most attended female over the entirety of it all, which was quite surprising. And it was one of those phases that pop up all the time, and I'm like, I remember that one from the last one, and I remember it from the last one, and I've gone through it now, and it was very consistent. This year there was only a couple in it. There was quite a few that were very high to it. Belinda being one. Very regular, because you're all, even for overall, for overall for all 3 years. Spencer's actually quite high up on the list. Me? You wouldn't believe it, would you? But overall, Robert, my God! So there's quite a few. But the most attended over this year, the most attended over all 3 years. Well, one person who's beaten you. So this is for you.
Oh, no.
I know. Some of the changes on these. No, thank you, me. You keep coming.
Well done, mate.
I thought that was brilliant. Right, bit of a double jointed one on this. I was looking forward to these, so we've actually got awards of recognition. Now I tend to give one out myself, and then the rest of them are for voting. But the recognition that I wanted to hand out for was voted in for as well. So it really made no difference. I didn't get a say in any of it. It was just hand it over to everybody else. And there was one in particular that it's not the best scenario to be in. There was quite a lot of us, and somebody had a little bit of bad news. However, that little bit of bad news, there was another person who went with her, have a little bit of a shortcut walk off. Quite a big group of us. We all went off, did our merry thing. We know that it was under control, but you get to the end of a road, turn around and see them walking off holding hands with each other. That's huge, that's big. That shows community within the running community more than anything. Andrea, you definitely deserve that.
There you go, Martin, she's got one now.
We have to get a bigger cabinet.
Which then led to what I left out for voting. There was no point in me putting anything else. However, you can kind of see some of the ways that these go every now and again. And for recognition, I had to split a couple of them up because everybody's sending things in that are kind of fit in a cheerleader, fit in a recognition. And there were so many people that were coming up consistently. Lisa came up consistently. A lot of people had mentioned how fun-loving you are. You're always cheering people on. Advice, everything, and it was brilliant. And you were up there as one of the contestants. Sadly, not quite. You were pipped. You were pipped to the post, and it's your own fault that you were pipped to the post because you added another vote for somebody else. So, but again, there were quite a few. There were a couple that were mentioned. Belinda, you were mentioned again actually for recognition. Sadly, you're not getting one this time, Claire, but no, Claire, but you were up there as recognition as well. There was a couple voted for your consistency at the same time. However, there's one that stood out more than most, because they were voted more than most, of how they became quite a big friendship within the group. There was a helping with a lot of people outside of here as well as not just in here, and continuously just being a nice guy. Spencer.
Me?
You.
Crazy you are.
You were voted in for everything, including the funny one as well, because people still think it's funny.
I am truly shocked, I really am, honestly.
It was very close. It was so torn. It was very, very close. So some of them had to be split into different categories for what they were, not just recognition. And the cheerleader, happy, chirpy, cheers everybody on. Sometimes gives them a kick when they need to be. Little bits, there's some like that. I had a couple of consistencies of a couple of people that I here actually. One of them here I mentioned it, I think. Always there for a chat, always there to cheer you on. And no matter how crap or slow you feel, you know that you can always drop back and she'll be there waiting for you for a natter. I don't usually give them out for people that come with me for it anyway, but there were quite a lot of consistent votes that Jenny was getting a cheerleader and recognition. Hey. Always being that person to stick with. I couldn't ignore it. Too many people mentioned that look, I know how crap I am. I could drop back and Jenny's there. Okay, that's what it was. And the shining star one. Can I sit down for this? Because I got a vote, but I'm not allowed to have it. It's got to go elsewhere. I got a vote for one, and I'll mention it anyway. And it was only a small group, and it was the way that it was put was quite amusing. Was turning up to the wrong car park on your own run. Yeah, okay, I did. I didn't. In my defence, I turned up to the correct car park that I wanted to go to. I just advertised the wrong car park. Then spent 5 minutes chasing Claire around trying to catch him. We're going to this one, we're going to start. They were all quite close. It's just, anyway, it happened anyway. We had Martin's landslides coming in for not actually falling over this time. He just had a different coloured hand. I can't remember the names, but turning up to a reservoir in brand new shoes, expecting that to be a good idea. That was kind of a joint one. But a couple were quite amused at somebody who apparently can get lost in her own back garden. and definitely got lost on one of the runs after leaving us to go home early, but then turned up 20 minutes late because she took the wrong turn down a straight road. It was literally go all the way down to the end of the road and it be his left. So she went, I know, I'll turn left. Disappeared, so I'll have to catch up with Michelle for the shining star for that one. I don't know, but yeah, the girl gets lost everywhere.
Brilliant. Right, eat more cake. Brilliant.
Eat more cake, and thank you guys for coming and doing it. It's brilliant.
3 cheers to Bog! Hip hooray! Hip hooray! Hip hooray!
Thank you. Eat more cake. More cake.